Hello, thanks for joining me for your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of September. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now I'm going to give you an overview of the major strands of this week before going on to give you your specific in-depth forecast. And of course the week begins with Mercury going into a retrograde in the sign of Libra. Well, of course, Libran energy is all about balance, and the sign is an air sign, so about communication. And of course, the winged messenger is all about talk and thought. So it's around our relationships that we're really going to have to work hard, not just to when the retrograde finishes, but from when Mercury emerges from shadow on the 3rd of November. In fact, it's been in shadow in this location since the 6th of October. So also this week, Mercury is squaring up with Pluto. Pluto's the planet of passion and of change and of truth. And it may be in our professional situation that it's those relationships that prove to be particularly difficult or tricky. So keeping the lines of communication open is crucial. But of course, Mercury is a planet in the sign of Libra, but it's not the only one. The Sun and Mars are in Libra too, and they're both forging a very constructive link to Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, another air sign, and the sign of friendship. So those ties or bonds or associations which are collaborative, cooperative and constructive can actually go from strength to strength. So don't see Mercury retrograde as being all bad, because also Mercury this week is forging a gorgeous alliance to the planet of fortune, Jupiter. And this is one of those really uplifting angles that can really give us a lot of support. And in this case, to articulate our ideas and to see the good in situations. I think that's going to be really helpful. Now, there is a quarter moon on Wednesday in the emotional sign of Cancer. And if there is somebody around us that is finding it a little bit more difficult to interact in the way that we want, then we may need to work at this a little harder from then. But also this week, Venus, the second half of the week, forges a very deep and passionate angle to Pluto. And I think this again is just going to remind us of the quality of certain associations, but also it can be very good from a financial viewpoint. So if you're working on something and it is requiring a lot of skill, a lot of nous, a lot of acumen, then any kind of relationship around the business world that is based on finances, where the lines of communication are open, can also prove fruitful. If you're new to me or my channel, I'd be honoured if you'd subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, you can sign up for your free written daily horoscope to be fired to your device each morning. Please see the subscription link beneath this video. I write for many newspapers and websites around the world, including Britain's most read newspaper, The Metro. So it would be a pleasure for you to join me too. And finally, with year 2022 racing up, if you'd like to get your forecast for next year and you order it now, you can get the rest of 21 free, plus a character analysis and 30% off, all based on your unique birth data. So gain searing insights of the opportunities ahead, but also where to steer clear of challenges. Please see the link below. Hello Pisces, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 27th of September. This week begins with Mercury going retrograde. If you're thinking about making any big purchases from now through till the 3rd of November, when Mercury eventually comes out of shadow, probably a good idea to think very carefully before you go for it. Keep receipts, that kind of thing, especially if it's any kind of shared financial situation. Ironically, if you're really doing the research on a business idea and you're quite heartened by what you're discovering, the Sun and Mars's angle in your 8th house, also along with Mercury, to Saturn in your 12th house, suggests the deeper you dive and the more you find out, the more reassured you can become. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it feels like you're getting rewards at a physical level at the moment. I think actually you might be unpicking some very complex issues from your past, and that may require a degree of self-analysis. You may be seeing a counsellor or a therapist at the moment, or learning more about what makes you tick by downloading self-help manuals, or what you're reading book-wise, and all those things don't necessarily feel very out-facing and very glamorous, but they can be tremendously important. And also, your ruler of Jupiter is actually forging a marvellous link with Mercury despite Mercury's retrograde. So it's very, very important with Mercury retrograde not to think that everything's going to go wrong. Some glitches do tend to happen. You know, I've ordered some stuff from Australia and it's arrived, but I didn't have to pay any customs. Now, ordinarily I would. So, you know, sometimes with Mercury retrogrades or shadow periods, anything to do with post, distribution, communication, you know, there is a sense that things will automatically fail, but not everything will. And the retrograde is a chance to rethink. So where you can rethink is anything to do with finance, long-term finance, property, pensions, insurance, saved resources, business alliances, or your psychological well-being, particularly because Mars and the Sun and also Mercury are linking to planets in your 12th house. So there is a lot of knowledge to be gained this week, even if it doesn't feel very sexy. But there is a quarter moon in your 5th house, which is pretty sexy, and that does square with the Sun, of course, on Wednesday. That could mean that you'd be attracted to someone this week who wouldn't necessarily ordinarily be your cup of tea, or there may not be someone that physically necessarily switches you on, but there may be something about this person that have a power, a unique energy, a magnetism which you can find quite alluring. But the 5th, 8th house angle can also make us more mindful in a existing romantic relationship if one partner tends to be a bit clingy or controlling or possessive. So just be conscious of that. But in terms of your love life, Venus does forge a very, very sweet link to Pluto at the end of this week. And Venus is about relating. It can be about money. But I think in this particular situation for you, it suggests that maybe you're going to have a conversation with someone in your friendship group, or someone who's introduced to you through a mutual shared interest. Someone where the ideals you have are very unified. And that actually could see you hit a real sweet point. And that may be very reassuring, but the vibes you get may be quite deep and not very glamorous at the moment. But there's something there that could intrigue you, and it could turn out to be very positive given a little more time.